We are two besties. Let me do that over. I didn't like that. I need to flow in, right?
Too high. Hey guys, I'm Laura.
And I'm Nikki. We are two besties traveling the world, navigating being moms, wives, and lady bosses of our own businesses.
While many believe we're doing this gracefully, the truth is we're actually surviving off of champagne and adventure.
There is never a dull moment, and we know there are many wives, moms, and lady boss besties going through the same adventures.
Join us weekly as we feature new bubbly, and we share the truths about what it takes to be a wife, mom, lady boss, and FAF.
Hi everybody, welcome to Champagne Truths. I am Nikki Betts.
And I'm Laura Rohde.
And today we are going to feature Veuve. And we're going to talk about our trip to Europe. So we recently got back on a 3-week family vacation together with our hubbies and kids across Europe. So we're going to talk about that, but first, let's pour some champagne. So, our trip there.
Oh man.
My kids are probably never going to fly economy ever again because I decided it was a good thing to do business class because we had an overnight flight. And they were spoiled rotten, and it was wonderful and it was amazing. How was economy?
So my husband made us stay in premium economy because he's one of those cheap people that feel that we could just get by on 8 hours, no sleep, 6-year-old. Well, he did sleep. They both slept, actually. They both slept. I was the one awake, moving, turning, tossing. But they both slept perfectly fine. So when we got there, my jet lag was horrible, but they were.
You weren't a raging biatch, though. You were good.
No, I held it
good.
together. I held it
You're
together
good.
for the good cause of everybody there.
So we flew into Paris and then flew out of Paris because of cost. From Paris, we had to take a fast train to Germany. And if anybody knows about what was happening in Paris before Christmas, they had strikes going on. So we actually had to take a train, and we got to the train station before her. My husband decided to go to the bathroom. And let me just say that being alone with my children in Paris train station is probably one of the most scariest things I've ever been in my life.
I mean, when we pulled up, because we came up in a different taxi because all 7 of us with all of our luggage couldn't fit in one. So we took a different taxi. We got there after them, and we pull up, and this nice gentleman comes to the back of the car, grabs our luggage out, and puts it on this metal thing. Now, our taxi driver's looking at us like we're crazy, and I'm like, hey, yeah, take my bags, help me. Of course, I want your help. Well, we get into the train station, and he says, I'm going to take your bags and go bring it to your train. And I was like, okay, I was looking at Matt, and I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe I should keep my bags here. And I was like, no, I'll take my bags. And he's like, no, I'll take them for you. And I was like, no, I will take my bags. So then he takes us over to the ATM with all of my bags and says, oh, you owe me $50. My husband looks at him and tells him to go kick rocks, gives him $15, sends him on his way. He leaves our luggage there. And then this nice European man comes up and says, oh, just so you know, people in Paris don't actually want to help you. They were trying to steal all of your luggage. So,
forgot to warn you of that part. I've been to Europe before, and I forgot to warn her of that part. What I didn't warn my husband about, and he knows this too, traveling, that he should never leave me alone or the kids alone with me because homeless, crazy people come and walk up and try to steal your children.
And your luggage.
Your luggage.
The whole time we were there.
Needless to say, we were happy to get out of Paris.
Yes.
We went to Germany. Germany is beautiful for Christmas.
Yeah.
The Christmas markets are like my ultimate favorite.
If you want to feel like you're in a Hallmark movie, go to Germany during Christmas. Just
yes,
absolutely
it's
incredible.
Look, and we did the Love Walk Bridge. You can see it here. One of the coolest events that we probably did was putting a lock on that bridge with our kids, and then we also did one as a couple as well because it was Drew and I's 10-year anniversary. The spas in Europe are,
they're made for men.
Oh my God.
They are made for men and not for women. There are naked men in every single spa.
So
and they are not
she's
not
in the hot
attractive.
tub with her son, and I'm like,
My
oh,
6-year-old.
Drew and the girls are upstairs taking a nap, so I'm gonna go sit in the sauna and go for a run, blah, blah, blah. I literally sat down in the steam room, and all of a sudden these 5 naked men in a group walk in and just plop on down.
So I'm in the hot tub.
Literally naked.
And I see Nikki come running out in her bathing suit with her little robe on. She's like, help, Happy jumps in the hot tub, just me and her. And then as we're sitting there, the guys come out of the spa and they go outside. It's like, how cold was it?
30 degrees.
They're
Weirdest
out there,
experience of my life.
rip their towels off.
I've been to a spa in Italy before. I mean, it's a little different than here, but never have I been in a steam room where there is a bunch of naked men.
Yeah, that's not
and
cool.
they're fine with the women just sitting there. And then when we were leaving, there was women going in that were completely naked as well.
Yeah,
So,
not
I mean,
for me.
I commend them for being okay with their nudity and everything, but I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good.
no, not
Nope.
for us.
Nope. So then we went to London.
Oh,
London's beautiful.
Awesome. London is beautiful. Lots of shopping. If you love to shop and you love to spend a ton of money, go to London.
And our favorite, the Veuve bar. It was so awesome. So we had a tasting, and we were going to do a tasting here today, but what we realized is that the Veuve was really cheap there, and we should have bought like 5
We
cases.
should have shipped a suitcase home of it because we were like, yeah, we're going to do a Veuve tasting today. It's going to be great. Well, we go to Total Wines and it's double the price. And we're like, just kidding. We're not going to drink 5 bottles of $200 champagnes
Yes.
in one day.
And you can't even get Black Label here.
No.
So if you're ever over there and you can get Black Label Veuve, it's actually probably my favorite.
That's
and
the dry one, the old aged. Is
no, that was a Ledam. Ledam was the old one.
the Ledam.
The Black Label was the 2008.
Oh,
That one
okay.
was good.
Yeah.
And this awesome, cool dude behind us, we actually made some of those boxes. Mine says London on it. And then our
does mine.
bartender was like one of my favorite people in the world.
Oh, Poland guy, if you're watching, you are amazing.
He was really cool. He gave us a lot of free stuff. It was
We
great. Cheers to
basically
him.
Drink a bottle of champs for free.
So after London, though, we went to Switzerland, which probably one of the most beautiful views you could ever
Wow.
go to. What was your favorite part?
If
Wait,
you-
let me stop though. Before that, Laura?
No,
Laura?
save that for the end. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. So my favorite part of Switzerland was the mountains. We went to Grenoble, and right, is that how you say it?
Yes.
Grenoble, and
Interlaken.
and Interlaken. Absolutely incredible views. We ended up taking a sledge down the mountain. A sledge is like a sled, and it was just breathtaking. I'm already
Beautiful.
planning another trip back to go skiing with my husband, maybe this year. So if you love the outdoors, go there. Nothing in the world, I think, compares to that. Colorado's beautiful, but nothing compares to what Switzerland
Beautiful
looks like.
views. Awesome.
Um,
The food's okay.
what was your favorite part of Switzerland?
It was all the views. And there's no better way to travel Europe
Those
than...
pictures. That's the wrong one.
No, it's not. It's the one I sent her. Oh, well. So we also had champagne on the mountain, but also, if you travel all across Europe, the best way to do it is actually by fast train because you get to see all of
Yes.
the awesome scenery. People I've heard fly because it's cheap to fly as well from country to country. I prefer the fast train. So does my husband, and the kids actually love it because they got Wi-Fi, so they're happy. And they're quiet.
They're watching.
Yes, and they're watching. Switzerland was entertaining though as well. We stayed in an Airbnb because it was a little cheaper. It's very expensive. I will hand Switzerland that. They are very expensive. Laura
No.
refused.
Nikki tried to get me kidnapped.
Did not. This girl has never ridden in an Uber by herself.
And I will never ride an Uber by myself because I'm a woman and I'm scared I'm going to get stolen. So, Nikki,
Your husband left before I
we're
did.
in Switzerland. So this is how this happened. We are in Switzerland and we check out of the Airbnb and we need to get to our next destination.
Airport.
I can't remember if
We had to get to the airport.
We had to get to the airport. We had a flight to catch.
Because
And
our train was canceled
it
because
was
of
really
the
bad,
strike.
because
So
we were going back to Paris at this time, right? And there was a strike, so we couldn't get on our flight. We had to take a trip. Right?
we had to take a flight.
We had to take a flight.
Our train
Yeah,
got
because the
canceled.
train was canceled. Anyways, we're standing there, and Nikki's like, "Oh, there's no Uber XLs." And like I said, there's 7 of us. Everyone has a suitcase except for me. I have 2 suitcases, so
Bougie.
I could not fit in the Uber, and I was refusing to go alone. I wanted my husband to ship my bags alone, and then take me, him, and my son in one car, but he refused to do that in fear that our luggage was going to get stolen. So instead, I had to take my first Uber ride alone. I cried hysterically the entire time. I was shaking. I was scared. The lady in the hair salon actually had to call the Uber for me because I did not know how. He shows up, Actually, it was a taxi.
It was a taxi because your Uber app wasn't even set up.
Yes, because my Uber app wasn't set up. So I go in, she calls me a taxi, and I get the taxi. I was like, does the taxi guy have a number? Because I'm just not going to get in anybody's taxi. And she's like, yeah, here's the number. She writes it down. Well, a taxi guy shows up, shows me this number, but the first number's wrong. And he tries to take my bag, and I'm like grabbing my bag away, and I'm like, no, I'm not getting in your taxi. This is not the number I have. He goes, yes, that's my number. I'm like, this is a 9, that is a 1. These are not the same numbers. I'm not getting in your car. So the hair salon woman saw me, came out, and said, no, ma'am, this is...
They write 1s like 9s there.
This is your taxi. So I'm like, okay. So I get in this guy's car, and I'm texting my husband, turn around and come and get me. I'm going to die. I'm getting stolen. It was just like the worst ever. So...
Meanwhile, the Bettses are in 2 separate Ubers. I go with my
Uber.
child, Drew goes with our other child with our stuff.
There I was alone with
Matt
my
and
luggage.
Sandra go in another one, and this bitch wouldn't get in the Uber by herself.
So anyways, as I'm crying, Nikki hops in her Uber and leaves me there on the streets of Switzerland alone.
You had to figure it out yourself. You're a big girl.
Yeah, it was
That's what
definitely...
besties do. I'm like,
it was
go into the
definitely
world,
hard.
my child. Go into the world.
Into the world. Just let me kick you right in there. But
So
yeah.
then we get to Paris, which Paris is a beautiful city.
The people are
The
mean.
people are horrible.
They're horrible.
I do not like Parisians. We've heard, though, that other French people are amazing. So, and I did meet a couple other French people who are amazing. Parisians, though, they can just kind of be rude. They're kind of like if you're in a big city, New Yorkers.
They're like New Yorkers.
I mean, they just have, it's not that they're mean, it's just they have this attitude that my Midwest nice does not handle well.
Yeah,
I'm too Midwest nice, yeah.
Paris was fun, very beautiful. Definitely go at least once so you can see everything there's to offer, the Eiffel Tower, the Arc. But
Evening is not
no
for me.
No. Nikki and I tried to go watch the Eiffel Tower for New Year's
Eve.
and some guy tried to steal us in the park. So we started running.
And they're all probably laughing. They're like, these girls are exaggerating. I'm actually
No,
not
we're not
exaggerating. If you know me, you know I am not exaggerating. Like, this one guy walked out from the shadows, and he's like, hey, can you help me? And I'm like,
and then the
no.
other guy starts
So we
approaching
turn
the other
around.
way.
We turn around, and this other guy comes from the other side in the shadows. I'm like,
You know, look at each other like, run! So we start running like crazy.
and we ran into the horse police.
Yes,
They're riding the horses, the police officers were, and they were monitoring, and they actually went that way because they saw the guys do it. I was like, oh my God, get me out of here.
So another story with Paris, you know, there's Taken, okay? So if you've ever seen the movie Taken, you know what I'm talking about when you could imagine the fear that was inside of me as this incident was happening. So Matt and I rented a Ferrari, and with the Ferrari comes the driver who was sitting in the car with us. And he asked us to go to the ATM. So we were like, okay, we'll go to the ATM. He wanted cash instead of credit cards. So he pulls us over, Matt's driving, he pulls over on the curb to the ATM. The guy was in the passenger seat, I was in the back with Xander. Matt gets out, goes maybe about a half a mile to where the ATM was, and I'm sitting there, and all I could think to myself is, if this guy even like as much moves a muscle in that seat, I am jumping out of this car. Well, what did he do? He got out of the passenger seat, walked around to the driver's seat, and before he could even open the door on the driver's seat, I had my kid out of that car, over the Ferrari. It was a convertible. I whipped him out over the Ferrari, had him in the road, and was standing, screaming at the top of my lungs, Matt, help me! And Matt turns around,
And I wish he was here. I
like,
wish he was here because he'd be like,
he literally was like, he was just shaking his head. As I'm crying, my kid's crying, everybody's approaching us asking if we're okay, and the poor guy who was just trying to move the car because Matt parked it in the middle of the road and there was a cop behind us, which I didn't notice at that time because I was too busy freaking out. He just wanted to move the car up. So he's looking at me like, I'm so sorry, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Could barely speak English and handed me the keys. So then I'm like, okay, I'm safe, I have the keys, and I open the keys. Like I'm gonna stab him if he comes near me. It was just ridiculous. So
crazy.
be careful when you go to Paris. That's all.
It's just be aware of your surroundings.
Yes, always.
We finally go home, and we can't leave without having one last dramatic thing. Well, our taxi doesn't show up in the morning to take us all to the airport. We hired the shuttle, didn't show up. So we're figuring out these Ubers. Again, Laura won't get in the stinking Uber, so she's crying and freaking out. Drew and I get in our separate Ubers. Ava falls asleep on me in the Uber, and we literally get into the airport to the terminal. to park so we can get out of the Uber, and she wakes up and...
So we pull up in our Uber, and I'm like, wow, Nikki looks mad. Why is she so mad? I can see her like yelling at Drew, and Nikki never yells. And I'm like, why is she so mad? She must be mad at me because I wouldn't get in the Uber and we're late. So then I get out of the car, and this girl is covered in vomit. Like, covered in vomit from head to toe. Her daughter just lost it all over her in the Uber. The Uber guy is harassing her daughter. It was just ridiculous.
He was not only harassing me, he was degrading me.
Yeah.
He was saying, because my husband was in another Uber and he had to come find us. And he was yelling at my 9-year-old and me because she got sick. And I mean, she's 9. And I caught most of it in a blanket, honestly, because she was getting sick. And I'm like, oh, don't get sick in this car. And I was basically holding her vomit in me and all over me. And he was saying, where's your husband? Where's your husband? He need to pay me. I'm like, I can pay you for the damages. Like, I want to. I'm so sorry this happened.
Your money was not good enough for him.
No, your husband can only pay. I lost it. I literally lost it. This lady boss was like, oh, no, you did not? I can handle myself. So Drew comes over and he's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, this man just needs to go away before I kill him. So needless to say, typically with Uber, you get charged. I submitted a cancellation and complaint, and they did not actually charge me the $300 that they were supposed to for this vomiting in the Uber. And the reason she got sick, she did not have the flu. We were horrible parents and let her have gluten the last 2 days in Paris, because Paris, everything is gluten. Like, there's not much that's gluten-free.
Pretty sure I lived off croissants for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, and so she usually she can have snippets of gluten. This time though, we let her have a little bit more, and unfortunately it does not do well in her stomach. She either breaks out in eczema or she ends up getting a stomach ache, and this time it just went everywhere. The poor thing. I felt so bad.
So long story short, make sure you travel with your children. Take them everywhere you go.
Yes.
Because
they were amazing. They did great. They really did.
It was amazing, and I can say that all 3 of our kids, they can speak 4 languages and say all of the proper thank yous, please, you're welcomes, excuse me. What was the one? Well, how do you, guys, this is something before we go. Go Google how to say seal in...
Oh, in French. My daughter, my 12-year-old goes, Mom, I know how to say seal in French. I'm like, what? And she goes, just Google it. Ask Siri. So I asked Siri, and I'm like, grounded.
So that's what you guys got to go do.
Google how to say seal in French and have Siri say it for you. And
cheers.
Cheers to a great vacay, more vacays ahead. We love to travel. Take your kids to see the world. It's the best thing you could ever do.
It really is.
Champagne Truce.
Bye.
Hi everyone, welcome to Champagne Truce.
Do we have something rehearsed? And this is Nikki Betts.
I am. It's time to drink some champagne. Today we are going to be tasting Veuve cookie. Can you say it? Veuve cookie.